Oh god, I'm gonna look like I'm a new player.
Okay, here we go. Okay, looks like it is starting the stream, which is good.
I can take a look on my end. Yeah, you're streaming.
I've thought about streaming on something other than YouTube, but I don't know. I was streaming on DLive for a while there, and it was just...
I know it's at least possible to like multi-stream to more than one platform at once.
Well, DLive was nice, but the problem with DLive is that all of a sudden, like, I took a break when my second boy was born, and then when I tried to come back, the entire dashboard was like broken and it wouldn't let me log in or stream anymore. And I have no idea what happened, but they also made some other changes that made it not as friendly. So, yeah, anyway. I am streaming now though, so I should probably address the stream a little bit. So welcome back, guys. I know that it's been a while. It's been, what, like probably a week and a half, 2 weeks since I did the Halloween stream. And then that had a little bit of lapse of time before then, and I did not update you guys on the base. So let's go ahead and I'll just show you some of the new things that I've been working on. There hasn't been, well, there's been a few changes. So let's go ahead and we'll just do a little tour. So for one, the iron farm is broken, so I will be redoing that in the near future. The base is not all loaded in yet, so we got some of those weird chunk loading errors over there. One new thing that I built was the CD farm, and I may actually take this down and move it, or just remove it completely. But I did stock up to where I had like a full shulker of each CD plus extras. So you can see like it's got plenty there. So basically the creepers just drop down. Then I just stand there and let the skeleton shoot them. It's just a simpler version of Nembomb's mob farm design. And this just takes you up to where you AFK. Anyway, I also rebuilt the new villager breeder, and I'm gonna be moving this whole setup again. So, got a lot of different things going on right now, but this was a kind of a trial thing so that I could work on how to like transition them and how to change them over. These guys have decent iron trades, and there's actually more than 3 there, I believe. But anyway, CDs are obsolete too. Yeah, I don't know. I like it. I've got some good music out of this farm. I mean, I hadn't heard like some of them like far. Let's see if I have that one. Is that this one? Yep, it's nice and peaceful. Get my parents jumping. So the server crashed earlier today, so if you see in the thing there's like Sundel's getting all the limits. He was the only one on, so I'm hoping that it's confined to only him having his advancements reset. Other things, this is a little thing that I was building off camera, and if it works it's supposed to launch you up. The only problem that I've had with it is that it's not always consistent, so sometimes it launches me out almost into the water. I've started building a little army of pacified pillagers over here, and I also got a witch. I'm gonna be putting those in the base somewhere. Over on this side, oh, there's Sensleku. You know what I did not do? I did not put the stream link in the Discord, so I think I'm gonna hurry and do that real quick just to let people know that I'm streaming. Okay, and then over here, Dundee will be working on a shulker loading storage system for this for me, so we'll see how that works out here. And then a big thing that you probably noticed here, let's go ahead and go around this way. I'm just going to load in the mountain because this drives me nuts that it's not to where you can see it. So I've been digging out this hole, and I'm sure that this is quite large compared to what it was last time. So the plan with it is I kind of want to go all the way around the inside of the mountain area that you can see here and dig that all the way down to bedrock. Now I know that is pretty crazy. Just kind of one of those things, it's like, why in the heck would I do that to myself? But at the same time, I think with the idea that I've had for a base, it's going to make it worth it. Oh, there we go. I got everything loaded in finally. And so, if anyone has watched or played like Skyrim, if you know of Blackreach, where there's like a big underground city, or what's another similar thing? I don't know. So originally I was inspired by like the Hobbit with the Lonely Mountain kind of thing, and that's kind of what I'm going for. Especially with the dragon that I'll be building up top and stuff. But yeah, this is just another little thing though that I am wanting to do, and just kind of get that base inside the mountain kind of thing. So anyway, the iron farm needs to go. This, you might be able to see. Simil's going to be getting all the advancements again for the next while. And if you want to say something, you are in the Discord still, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, anyway. So the water streams, you might be wondering what's been going on with those. I've been using that just to transport all the extra stone and stuff into an area where they can be automatically collected. And it is pretty full right now. Like I've got basically one empty chest there. And I've got tons of extra shulkers full of stone at the moment. The only problem is I don't think I'll be building my city in here out of stone. I'm actually thinking about trying to build it out of quartz, which means that all these extra shulkers, these are all cobblestone, these are all stone, and my entire storage system is all the way full, all the way up to the top. I'm going to have to find something to do with all these. I don't really want to throw them away, but I'm going to have to be doing something with them. Anyway, so how about we go ahead and start on... We got someone here with us. Oh, is that Sunna wandering around?
Yeah, I was just flying around your base. It is very, very, very big.
Yeah, here. What if we do a potion of slow falling and we can kind of... Well, I'm thinking about it. Do I have...
Like, to the point where if I fly to one side, the chunks on the other side unload.
Yeah. It does okay for me, but that's because I spend enough time here that I keep them all loaded for myself. Here, do you want a potion of slow falling?
Um,
It's fun if you want to look at stuff up close, and I think I actually will do that on the outside of the base here for a little bit. Because I have some more stuff that I've been doing over here. So as far as the outside of the base, this is still the only area that I finished, which I'm not sure if I have showed it on camera or not. But yeah, so I finished terraforming this one side. I'm still going to be putting in trees and other stuff. I also want to build an exterior castle somewhere on the outside of the base. So I got all that to be doing. I do need to go collect quite a bit more stone and, or not stone, I mean dirt and grass blocks. Anyway,
I have a few double chests of those if you want.
I might have to do a trade or buy them from you then. On the outside here, is that you just walking through the air? That looks really weird.
Oh yeah, yeah, I think I see you.
Yeah, with how slow you're moving. Anyway, so I do need to fix this outside and kind of make this more of a gentle sloping edge on the mountain here. And underneath this is all going to be, you know, just kind of sloped up a little nicer. Oh, I do need to sleep though. If I don't want a ton of mobs to spawn here, because I do have, oh boy, the slowest falling ever. I have not finished spawn proofing the entire outside either, and that's gonna happen with the terraforming at another point. But I want to make mostly the progress on the inside of the base here. You might also notice in the water that I've removed all of the kelp from this entire area. I got just short of 4 shulkers worth of kelp blocks by the time I finished. And then I bought some more from Sunnell, because what the heck. And yeah. Anyway, if we go ahead and come back down, you probably noticed this little mess of villagers too. These guys, I tried a new way of curing them where I cured them all at the same time, and it did work, and I only had to use 1 splash potion of weakness. But it also made it a little more difficult to get the specific trades and stuff. What else do we got going on? Oh, I also started digging out a tunnel. So the Pirate Kingdom has been working on doing a tunnel that goes out to... Oh, let's not kill myself. They've been working on a tunnel that goes all the way from their base to spawn. And I cleared it out all the way to their base. I just haven't gone up the vertical height that I need yet. Let's see, what else? Yeah, so just a lot of work here. But I think the next thing is going to be removing these water streams. So I can go ahead, that iron farm I'm going to be moving down. And kind of the idea with the base, so I do have a little bit of feather falling left, is that I'm going to be building in my main base here. So I'm going to have a thing that covers over the iron, or the slime chunks, so that I don't go inside the slime areas. I also have like my skeleton spawner that I'm going to be putting in like a tower or something. There's a spider spawner over here on the edge that's also going to be getting its own area. And then I'm just going to have like individual rooms. There's going to be like walkways down and stuff. It's going to be cool when it's all done, but just at the moment I'm not keeping any of the stuff that you see here. This is all going to be removed, all of this land. I've been going now for, I don't know, like weeks and weeks, just slowly mining everything out, so. Yeah, it's definitely my most ambitious project ever. And I think my next space after this is going to be radically different. Hello there again, Sunmail.
Hey. Although, and you said you were gonna need a lot of dirt. Are you thinking of putting like covering the mountain or?
Um, the base of the mountain up to about the area where I've already terraformed, and then I'll do like snow and ice and stuff up higher near the peak. Kind of do different levels with the elevation. But yeah, so I'm gonna have dirt around the base of the entire mountain.
Thought I had a lot of dirt and grass, but
Oh yeah, that's...
I think I only have like a total of maybe 20 double chests of like 7 of each. I realized the math on that is 14 double chests, not 20.
No, I've got a good amount because this whole bottom area is full, and I've been working my way up on the second level. But I was higher up on the second level, and then I used a lot of it, and so I'm down from where I was, so...
As per usual, I think I have a lot of a block, and it turns out Sir Logan has a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
Or at least about the same.
No, with all the stuff that I've been getting, though, from removing all this, I'm thinking I'll probably get reasonably close. I'll have to go remove all the grass and stuff from an area as well later, but... Can I... Sorry, I'm just trying to see if there's anything in the chat. I wish that this page that they had for the live streaming on YouTube was a little more compact. But... Anyway... I'm gonna start removing this water stream, so let's grab out some dirt from up top here.
I mean, YouTube has reactive design, so if you make the window smaller, it might rearrange itself.
Maybe.
Somewhat depends on your monitor size.
Well, I have a full
So I do like a
monitor
50.
dedicated to monitoring the stream at the moment. Because I have my secondary monitor that I got not too long ago, and that makes it really nice for streaming because I can actually just leave it all up on my one computer. I used to use a laptop to do that, but then my wife, her laptop crapped out, and so she's been using the laptop that I had that I was using for streaming. So, because I got a newer laptop for a good amount, but it's a pretty nice laptop, at least compared to the one that she had, so... Yeah, my wife had like this little Toshiba one that was probably $200 new. Or I'd guess that it was probably $400, but it wasn't worth $400.
Was the water stream the collection stream you mentioned that you used to automatically put stuff in a chest?
Yeah, that's over in the other corner. So the direction that I'm going, that's where I had everything going into.
What's the area of this?
What? Oh, the space that I've dug out already?
Yeah, or just this space. Like, how many chunks is this?
Here, let's turn on chunk borders. Isn't it F3 and G?
Yep.
So we got... Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little over 5.
It's like 5 this way as well.
Yeah, so almost a 5x5 chunk area that I've removed. And then you add on the other 7 plus that I've already removed for the slime farm. It's getting pretty large.
I think just the floor area of this base might be bigger than mine.
Yeah, this...
just the floor area of this hole might be bigger than my base, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Jeff, you are going to need to move.
Oh, is that the husk?
No, this is a different one. I've just had a few random like pet zombie villagers and stuff. I actually had another one, but that one died in an unfortunate accident. So at the moment it's just Jeff that's left down here, and then I have the husk up top somewhere. Yeah, eventually I'll get those guys into their prospective farms and stuff, or just into areas like the the pillagers up top. I want to put like inside my castle kind of thing. Okay, come on Jeff, let's move you over.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll ever patch peaceful pillagers. Because it is kind of weird that their weapons take durability damage when they fire them.
Well, it is, but at the same time I kind of like that as a little feature of the game, because I'm sure if you gave them a weapon that they'd attack you again, right?
I'm assuming.
So like I haven't tried it,
I don't know for sure either.
But okay, well, it's about time for me to get mining again. These chests are all going to come out, so I'm probably just going to throw crap in them anyway at the moment. And let's start removing all this. I also need to freaking slime proof this entire area, because I've been getting slimes all over in the nether for people. So I have been thinking about trying to get one of those like flying machines that drops TNT set up to help me clear out some of the rest of this. But I just haven't gotten to find a design that I think I'd actually use yet. That's definitely something I've thought about though, because this is just such a large project that I could use that, you know. It is amazing though, because like just the chunk that I removed earlier today, on just one section I used like, I don't know, I think like 9 diamond picks on just that one section. You're just focusing on getting all the advancements again?
No, I'm crafting some droppers, and that takes cobblestone.
Oh, very nice. Oh, my beacon is now full diamond blocks as well. Finally got that done.
I mean, if you want to see some advancement spam, I can do that.
No, I'm fine with it. Or you can do it. Yeah, trying to, I should probably talk about server stuff as well to kind of update people if anyone is interested. So we've started recruiting again. We've lost a few people, but we've also gained. So we lost Fearless just after that Halloween video that I did. He said that he was moving on to different things in his life and he wasn't going to have as much time for Minecraft anymore. But in the past week and a half we've gained Shastings, Little Tom, Aurora, Stego. Sorry, I'm getting attacked by a slime. The guy from India that I've yet to meet. I think his name is like Azim DK or something. I don't know, I haven't actually talked to him to learn how to say that name. I do have a couple other newish people. But yeah, so all the new people have been doing really well. Like Little Tom and Stego especially have been doing a lot of building and a lot of work. Little Tom has already got like an iron farm and a beacon, and he made a wither skeleton farm in the nether and stuff, so yeah, he's been really going as fast and as hard as he can, it seems. Oh, this is where I need to stay inside of. Okay. See, I think I'll not push out too much further than right here for the moment. Maybe a little bit this way. So Stego's had the goal of making a city in every biome. And so he's got swamp and cave basically going at the moment. I don't know, what else is there going on, Sunnell? You just made a giant kelp farm that's been lagging the server. And you've got your ice farm going. Did you finish your Zigger hat, or whatever that pyramid thing is called?
Working on it. The design is finished in creative, and I've started building it, but yeah. I was actually crafting the droppers I would need when the server crashed.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, that server crash was kind of weird because it was saying that it needed an update, then it actually didn't update. So I'm kind of... I don't know, I'm just kind of weirded out a little bit on it. So I'm thinking, was it 5 that's the top of the bedrock?
Let's see here. Yeah.
So I need to finish
On
taking
Y
this
equals 5, you
area.
start seeing bedrock.
There's Aurora. Aurora's the new girl on the server. Lamray's been on, but she's been having life stuff going on, and the other ones that had been on got kicked because they, I don't know, they just kind of ghosted us. It was weird. And, oh, it was the one's name from Finland. She also left. Anyway. So, I've been like watching on Amazon Prime, I've been doing like The Mentalist, as well as like Law and Order SVU, and what else have I been watching? I've just been kind of going between some of those shows that I can just splurge on, you know? And I think Law and Order SVU, I'm on like I've made it through quite a few seasons of that. Yeah, I'm on season 13. And there's 1, and then it skips 2, 3, 4. But then it has the rest of the season, so I've basically gone through... Was that like almost like 9 seasons of that, just while I've been working on this base here? Yeah, I tend to do a lot of watching movies and stuff while I work on stuff like this. What do you do, Sunnell? Do you watch anything or listen to audiobooks or...
Yeah, there's some YouTube videos, mostly. I don't
How do
watch a
you-
lot of television or movies for some reason.
Because you're on quite a bit, so I'd expect that you got something good going to keep you entertained.
Oh yeah, I'm usually watching the news. I watch the news hour every day, so that's
So you're actually being a good adult and watching the news and keeping up on it?
I try. Ever since I learned about the BT oil spill like 2 weeks in, I've been trying not
Oh,
to have that happen to me again.
yeah.
'Cause that was
Yeah, see, I keep up on the news, but it's generally with my news app, and then I have some YouTube stuff that they kind of track the news a bit, but I don't know, I guess I kind of just browse headlines and I don't actually watch a news broadcast. Hmm. So how was your Halloween?
yeah. I didn't do anything for it. I probably should have. That was kind of
Do
stupid.
you... So, this is kind of stupid, but do you have kids? Because you're married, right?
No one now.
Or no?
No kids. Not married.
Okay. So I'm thinking of... Because I know Sun Suleku has a couple of kids. And who else had kids? Oh man, this server's getting so big that... Who am I thinking of right now that also has kids? Oh, you know what? I think it was one of the guys that left that also had kids. Okay. Okay, so you just didn't really do too much then.
Yeah, I don't really have a Halloween story this year. Sorry.
It's okay. I took my boys trick-or-treating. Parker really liked it. Like, I think it kind of weirded him out that all of a sudden we were going to random people's houses and they're giving us candy, but...
Huh. Yeah, I suppose when you look at it that way, Halloween is a pretty weird holiday.
Just trick-or-treat. When he was gonna go with his grandma today, then he asked if they're going trick-or-treating. Like, he's like, trick-or-treat? It was like, nah, just that one day a year you just randomly get candy from strangers. Just... I don't know how to explain that to a 2.5-year-old though, because it is such a weird holiday that it's like you get dressed up in costumes and then go get candy, you know? I don't know. He was really moving along though, like he seemed to be enjoying himself with it, so...
I don't know. I guess this explanation probably wouldn't work for a young child, but to me it's like holidays are just sort of humanity will take any excuse to have a party.
Oh yeah.
And it's like you're not going to get rid of a tradition where you get to dress up funny and get candy.
Mm-hmm. When I was in Mexico, the Day of the Dead is on November 1st, and some of them push it to November 2nd as well. And so in some areas it basically just turned into a 3-day long Halloween where they'd still get dressed up and party and stuff. And so they just took it like a whole 3-day holiday kind of thing. So, holy cow, why am I getting so many creepers spawning when I have sea lanterns floating here lighting the area? Now I remember one area though. It was like, so my first Halloween was in an area called Molinito. That wasn't in Mexico City itself, but in, oh, what's the name of the actual town? It's literally like right outside of Mexico City, and it's hard to tell where one ends and the other begins. So, I mean, it basically did just seem like an outer suburb of the city kind of thing, you know? Oh, it's gonna bother me now that I can't think of the name of the actual city. But anyway, so in Molinito, it was a rough area. Like, there were narcos and stuff in that area, you know? And so it wasn't exactly a place where you wanted to be out after dark. But yet, when Halloween, like I was there during Halloween and the Day of the Dead and stuff, and the people were still out and about. There were guys dressed up as like zombies and stuff. And so I remember it being kind of a weird experience though, because it's like the place, like we'd like nightly hear like shootings and stuff. And you'd hear about killings and stuff. So like in the nearby area, not exactly where I'm thinking of, but like within an area that we were still going around, there were 10 killings between Monday and Thursday on one street of one little, you can call them colonias, but they're kind of like a little suburb or a neighborhood. But anyway, yeah, so, but people were still like out trick-or-treating on Halloween, you know, and it was like a weird thing that like this place is super dangerous and yet you're still going out with your kids, you know, just... Anyway, so that was kind of a weird experience, but they do these, thanks to asthma, I remember the name of the drink, it's called a michelada, where they basically get a big cup of alcohol and then they have like, they use a spice called Tajín. It's like a peppery kind of spice thing that they put on like different foods and stuff. A lot of times they mix it with chamoy, which is like a little like apricot sauce or something, I don't know exactly. It's also kind of spicy, but anyway, they put that around the rim of the cup. And so when we were trying to go through there was all those kinds of orange flowers that they use for the Day of the Dead. And then all kinds of people selling alcohol and food and stuff for the people that were there at the cemetery in the area. And it was like one gigantic party at a cemetery. Like, it was such a weird experience. I don't know, here like in the US you go to cemeteries on like Memorial Day a lot of times and just remember the people that died and stuff. It's kind of a sad thing. But this was like a full-on party, you know, like these people were out to celebrate, so... Trying to think where I was my second Day of the Dead. I think I was in Tianguistenco. So there's a little town called Santiago Tianguistenco. And Tiangi is like an open-air street market kind of thing. And so they basically named this town, or I don't know the exact story, but it was named after Tianguis. And every Tuesday, the entire town turned into a giant open-air market. And like thousands of people would travel in to come do their shopping kind of thing. And I was in a town just over from that called Halitlaco. Yeah. And so when I was there, I think on the Day of the Dead, that's when they had a big parade. They had like horses and they had these guys that were wearing like these gigantic masks. So they looked kind of like the, you know in Shrek where there's a guy that has a Lord Farquaad head outside of the town? And like he panics and falls over and stuff when Shrek and Donkey come in.
Rings a bell.
And they had masks that were kind of like that were giant. And then they had like these dancing horses, which in Mexico, most of the horses that I saw looked pretty poorly taken care of. Like they didn't look like they'd been brushed, and they were kind of skinny, so you could see their bones and stuff, you know. But the dancing horses that they had in this parade were just absolutely beautiful, and they were very well trained and stuff, so I think they had to have been from somewhere else, you know, like they traveled in for the parade. And then they also had guys that were dressed up as women, like a bunch of cross-dressers, that were going around and like trying to grab at other guys and stuff, and they tried to grab my companion. That was kind of a weird experience. They did parties though, like in the little neighborhoods that they had, like a lot of them they'd name after like different Catholic saints, and so you'd have like San Martin or San Juan, or you know, like they'd do them after different saints and stuff. And the saints each have a holiday, right? In the Catholic Church they have like the Saints' Day. And so pretty much each colonia at least once a year would have their saints party there at the colonia. And so all of a sudden you just have like a big festival for like San Juan or whatever, right? So yeah, so it was pretty frequent though that you'd have to go through like these big parties where because they'd like literally just block off the street with like big tents and stuff and bring in all kinds of food, and some of them would bring them like little carnival rides or whatever and just plop them on the street, you know. Are you hopping off some now, or are you just
I'm checking what I did in the creative world since...
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that explains.
Sweet. Oh, it's still just us in the Discord. No, that Catholic kind of culture, it just permeates Mexico completely though, like even though there were plenty of different religions there, it was pretty common for them to just party. One of the interesting things too is because it was dangerous in some areas at night, like all the houses there, they call it a portón. It's like a big metal door, kind of like a garage door, but even tougher. And they have like a wall around the house, and so the only way in is through the portón. And so what they do in some areas is if they were having a party, you'd get in through the portón, but then you'd have to stay if you stayed past a certain time. And so then they'd basically just party all the way through the night. You know, like they'd have food and everything, but you'd not be able to leave the person's house until morning.
Wow.
So, I don't know, they definitely found a lot of reasons to party though. And a lot of the people too, like if you imagine like how much room you'd have if your entire yard was inside your, like a wall around your yard, you know, like it was all enclosed, then you know, some of the people had a decent amount of area in their houses. So, for people to stay and drink, and I don't know, they'd bring like carnitas and stuff. I went to there's a family that we were teaching, and so we didn't really go to parties all that often, but there was just one family that we were teaching that invited us over, and they had a little party that they were doing because they had a baby born in the family. And so they're like celebrating it with like a big party with like carnitas and stuff. And carnitas is just like, they take pig meat and they just cook it in like a bunch of pig fat, like animal fat. I think in English it'd be like lard, or I think there's another word for it as well. But anyway, kind of like Crisco, when you get it heated up, you know, and it turns into more like an oil. But anyway, they would do that and basically just cook all the pig. So depending on where you're at, you could actually get quite a selection of stuff in carnitas. And so you could get just the straight carnitas, like the only meat. Or they'd also have like a surtido, which is a mix. And so you could get meat mixed with some of the other things that they did. And some of the other things that they did is they would have like other bits of the pig in there. And so some of the ones that I had personally were like, there's one called nana, which is a female pig's uterus. And that kind of tastes like, it tastes like normal meat, but it kind of looks like pasta. Like, if you could imagine like macaroni or something, just that's kind of like, it just had a lot of folds in it kind of thing. And so that's what it looked like, was mainly like, I don't know, yeah, like pasta of some kind, and it had about the texture of pasta as well, that was cooked al dente, you know, like it didn't have too much chew to it. What else? They also had buche, which was like the intestines or something, I guess. And that also had a similar texture, but it was slightly different. The flavor was just a little bit different, but it also wasn't horrible. I don't know, the things that I didn't like as much were like the pig ears. Like if you've ever tried a pig ear, it's just got like, it basically tastes a lot like pig skin, but then it has a layer of cartilage on the inside.
Yeah, yeah, I would think that wouldn't taste very good for the same reason that people tend not to eat sharks.
Tend not to eat what?
Sharks.
Sharks?
Yep.
I've never tried shark.
I think sharks are like mostly cartilage or something.
Huh.
But yeah, I've never tried it either.
That's interesting. I had never really thought about eating a shark. No, pig's ear, I had it in pozole. So pozole is like a corn kind of soup, I guess is what you'd call it. Which normally they do like chicken or like shredded pork or something, but just in this one particular instance we had pig ears in it. And so they do like pork skins, you know, all the time. Like that's a very common thing down there. And so it literally just tasted like pork skins, but with, you know, it's basically just pork skins, but with the layer of cartilage in the middle that kind of gives it like a really weird chewy bit that you kind of got to crunch through. So it's, I'm trying to think of how to describe it. It's almost like bone, but you can bite all the way through it and chew it up and eat it just fine. But you just got to give it like a little bit more than most Americans would be used to of a bite, you know. But yeah, I tried, I don't know, I ate a lot of different things like that in Mexico. I ate cabeza de res, it's like cow head. That's actually surprisingly good. Like lengua is really good. Like lengua is just, like it's one of those things that sounds gross, like eating a cow tongue, you know, but the taste is really good. And I mean, as long as I cut it up good enough, then the texture isn't too horrible either.
I mean, I've eaten raw fish. I don't think I get to poke fun at what people eat anymore.
You've eaten raw fish? You mean just sushi?
Sure, that's what sushi is.
Yeah, that's not that bad though. That is pretty common. Like, I don't know. I ate cow head, sheep head, pig head, um, cow intestines, sheep intestines, pig intestines. I also ate chicken liver, which I would not recommend. What else did I eat that was kind of out there? Oh, I've eaten pig's feet, cow's feet, chicken feet, and turkey feet, which basically tastes like big chicken feet. Which I guess is basically what a turkey is, right? Is just a big chicken. I don't know. They had a lot of random stuff like that, though, that I ended up eating. Oh, that's weird. There's some water here. I would not recommend, like, menudo. I think it's just gotta be like an acquired taste, you know? But menudo is like the cow, one of the cow's stomachs or something. And not only is it rubbery, but it's got like these little, I don't know, like if you could imagine like little rubbery hairs that line the inside of the stomach. It's got something like that on the inside that gives it.
It sounds like it tastes awful.
Well, it not only doesn't have a really good taste, like most Mexican food, like initially a lot of it is kind of bland because they don't really season it too much, and then you just get the flavor with the salsa that you add. Or like they do salsa, lime, cilantro, different things that you can add in, you know, that make it good. But yeah, menudo is just like, it was one that I never could get the flavor to where it was like I enjoyed it. And the texture was just so bad that I just could never get used to it. But yeah, even like pig's feet, like when I had pig's feet, it was basically pig's feet covered in scrambled eggs and green salsa. And so I mean, at least the salsa and the eggs. The thing with pig's feet that I wouldn't recommend them for is just that there's not a lot of meat there. And basically you're just eating like connective tissue and nerves and like little bits of like fat and stuff, but there's not really all that much muscle down in the very bottom of the foot that they eat. So you don't get like the conventional kind of meat taste, you know, like. Yeah, they also ate a lot of nopales, like the cactus leaves. And those were good depending on how you cooked them.
Wait, cactus have leaves?
Like the cactus, like fronds, or I don't know what you'd call them, but like the. So you know how there's like the. Like with the pear cactus, it has kind of a pear shaped leaf with all this stuff on it.
Nope, I don't know much about cactus.
Oh, well. So some types of cactus have like these kind of like fronds or. I don't know. Anyway, the type of cactus that they have down there, though, they grow larger than they do here in the States. Unless you're in like Arizona or something. And it's not like the saguaro cactus like you see when people draw like cactus normally, and it's like the big standing tall one. Like it almost has like the.
Is that the one that looks like it has three forks when you draw?
Yeah, it's like the saguaro. And it's not that, it's like a. It almost grows a trunk from the bottom leaf. But the ones that are the shoots that are off near the top, that are the newest or the most tender. And so what they do is they actually farm those, where they cut them off and plant one in the ground, and then it grows new little sprouts, and then they just farm the little sprouts that come off that are maybe, I don't know, they harvest them and they're maybe like 6 inches across and 9 inches long or something like that. And they're really tender, and you can get them canned. but I wouldn't recommend canned ones because they're kind of baboso. They're like a little bit slimy. But the ways that I've had them that were really good is when people like grilled them fresh, and then you put them on your tacos like that, and that is really good. It's like probably one of the best meals that I have in Mexico. The guy just took like a 50-gallon drum lid and built a fire underneath it, and then just cooked all the stuff right there in one big pile. So he did like onions and nopales and a few different kinds of meat and stuff, and just did it all on like one big pan kind of thing. And you know, like when you get the taco kind of stuff where you're just grabbing it all together in one big plate, then it's really good. Yeah, they do like longaniza, which is like a type of sausage kind of thing, like a Mexican sausage. There's you can get that. You can get, there's a few other types of sausages and stuff that they have, and I don't know. I think Mexico has one of the best like street food kind of things, because you can get other kinds of street foods than just tacos. So they do like these Mexican style hamburgers that are actually more of like, because they don't do a lot of big cuts of meat like we do here, you know, so you're not going to get like a full 3rd-pound hamburger kind of thing. And so what they do a lot of times if you got a hamburger there was that it'd be like maybe a 1/4 pound if you were lucky, but probably closer to like a 1/6 of a pound or something. It's like a really tiny burger, but then they'd put ham on top of it. And then they would top it with other things. So you'd basically have like a hamburger that actually had actual ham on it. And then they do like rajas, which is like a mixture of onions and carrots and peppers that is like pickled together. And, you know, like maybe some ketchup and mustard. And they didn't really put lettuce on their hamburgers at all. They weren't bad, depending on where you got them. Like, I was more of a fan of just the normal tortas than their version of hamburgers. And tortas, at least in Mexico, like I know that in other parts of South America, torta means cake. But in Mexico, it's more of a sandwich. And they just have this bread that's called telera. It's just like a white bread and like a long bun kind of thing that you can cut in half and then fill up with stuff, you know. But you'd have like different ones. They do like normal stuff like the longaniza, or they give them different names and stuff. My favorite torta though is called torta cubana. And it's kind of a play on words, because like the torta, basically they just put everything in it that they had. But it was to kind of make fun of that the Cubans didn't really have a lot kind of thing, I guess. And so you had a sandwich that was filled with everything named after a country that didn't really have a whole lot, I guess. But the torta cubana, they would put ham of like the normal sandwich kind of ham, as well as like the leg cut ham, like the thicker cut ham, you know. And then they would also do holy cow, I'm almost out of pics.
Didn't you have like an entire shulker box of picks when I was in your base?
There's a lot there, yeah. There's like 9 shovels or so, and the top is a mixture between Silk Touch and Fortune picks, so I'll probably start using my Fortune ones, but I'm almost all the way out of my Silk ones. And I also have another whole shulker box, but they're only efficiency 4 picks. So I guess I could use those as well, because they're also mending. But those are the ones that I've been using for terracotta, just because when I mine terracotta with efficiency 5, it's a little bit much at times. Anyway, just because with terracotta, then I usually try and be more selective with the colors that I'm getting and stuff, right? And try and avoid getting the stone and stuff underneath it, so... No,
I guess that makes sense, especially from an inventory management perspective.
Yeah. I'm just, right now, just removing a lot of stuff, so I am kind of flying through my diamond picks at the moment. No, anyway though, so apart from that, it also had Milanesa, so like with a lot of their meat, like you could get either like chicken or beef or different kinds of Milanesa. A lot of the ones that they did though were chicken. But they'd pound it out flat with a hammer and then bread it, so you'd have your actual meat was extremely thin, like it'd be less than 1/4 of an inch thick. But then you'd have enough breading on it and stuff that it would be still pretty filling, you know? And so they do Milanesa on there. They'd also do eggs, as well as hot dogs, and I don't know, the amount of meat that they put on those sandwiches was just ridiculous. But so you had all kinds of stuff, and then of course they always did like avocado and... Am I missing some? I am missing some. I'm just missing some of my sea lanterns up above here.
I finished my pyramid ziggurat thing, by the way.
Oh, very nice. I might take a break and come look at that here in a bit, because...
Yeah, it's a really small build.
I don't know, I want to keep things interesting on the stream, and I did that little base tour, and then I've just been mining stuff. I don't know, I do try and show all the work that I'm doing here though, because I don't want people to think that, you know, because it's like you do such a big build in survival, like what I'm doing, and this is gonna take me months. Like I've literally been working on this a couple months already.
Yeah.
And I just think that there's going to be a certain number of people that are going to find it hard to believe that someone would take the time to do that, you know, and not use like World Edit or Creative or... So I just try and make sure that I show my progress even if I don't record everything, because...
It wasn't exactly that, but there was an April Fool's Day episode from, how do you pronounce it? Zazuma Void?
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that one.
I'm not sure if I have. What happened though?
He pretended he had a build team coming and do stuff in creative mode.
Oh.
And he like played the part of this sort of like pretender who was doing it only for the money.
Nice. Yeah, Xuma, he's got some really big bases that he's done. Like ridiculously large ones.
Like even his current one is large. It's like it's a Guardian farm. What, have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, okay, then I'm wasting time describing it.
Yeah, I've got my Guardian farm area, but I just haven't done a lot with it. Like it's covered over, and I actually went around a little bit ago and did stone brick and then glass on one wall because I want to remove the water eventually. So I don't know if you know the whole process that I used to do that Guardian farm. But
not the whole process. I was present for the
yeah.
part of the water draining.
So
I put like
basically
maybe 15 minutes or an hour into that with you.
basically drained all the water and then did the soul sand across the bottom and built in the top area. And then after the top area was filled in and had water throughout and everything, then we removed the corner pieces so that it could fill back in completely with water. And after it filled back in, I normally leave it open at that point, but I went ahead and just let it fill in completely, I guess, with water. And then this time around I went ahead and just I got stuff that I can put in here. Sorry, I'm just trying to put some stuff away real fast. Anyway, I let it fill back in, and then I'm going to remove the water from the outside. So it's nice having the ocean around it so that you can remove the corners so that it will fill back in on its own. Because otherwise that's a ton of water blocks to place, right?
Yeah.
With all the levels, and then you're also dealing with like the bubble effect because of the soul sand and everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess what I did when I wanted to fill a really large area with water is I did something similar where you do water sources along one edge and the other, and then you let them sort of fill in on the diagonal.
Yeah, so you can let it fill in on the diagonal, but it's like, I think it's an area that's like close to at least over 64 blocks wide on each end, right? And then doing that all the way up, like 30, 40 blocks or whatever it is, it's a lot of work. So anyway,
A lot less than initially clearing it, but yeah.
anyway.
I mean, I did something similar when I flooded the area in my kelp farm, so
yeah.
I know it's at least doable, even if it's not super fun.
Yeah, so anyway, I just let the ocean fill it back in though, I guess, and then now I'm gonna eventually remove that water from the outside there, but it's already all filled in and I'm not gonna have to mess with that anymore. And the nice thing is the Guardians won't randomly escape if they spawn close enough to the edge or anything anymore, you know?
Wait, what? They can escape?
Occasionally beforehand they could, like if they spawned right on the very edge, and sometimes they'd catch on the upper level that was above the ocean level, because I had to have like the container to hold all the water up higher, right, for all the water system to like push them down to the one end and everything. So anyway, occasionally they'd just catch on that and then not properly be pushed down, and they'd instead swim out into the normal ocean area. So, but by enclosing that, then there's just no chance of that happening at all now.
Yeah. To clarify, when I talk about filling a huge area on the diagonal like that, I'm not talking about using buckets. I'm talking about using ice.
Yeah, I've used ice.
Because otherwise that'd just be, I wouldn't.
Well, I've used ice as well. The only problem with even ice and stuff is that you still have to layer it one level at a time. And
Yep.
if you have the water bubbles like the soul sand underneath, then it's constantly shooting you upwards. You know, so just, I don't know, it just makes
Well, I
things
mean,
weird.
no, I mean, you place the icing pillars on one edge and the other, and then you break it all. And then the whole filling in on a diagonal thing happens in a huge area.
Yeah. But the ice you'd still have to place along most of one side so that it would make water source blocks and stuff, so. Oh, where's the skeletons?
you'd have to place it, yeah, every second block along two sides.
Mm-hmm. No, I know what you mean, though. Let's see. This is gonna take a while for me to finish. I'm just glad the boys are out of the house at the moment so that I don't have any distractions, because otherwise this would take so much longer.
Oh yeah, how are you planning on handling the snow layer thing? Don't those go away in rain? I'm not sure what the rules on those are.
Well, it depends on elevation, right? And like actual snow blocks and stuff is what I was thinking of using, like snow and ice blocks.
Right.
So, and I mean, I've built out of snow blocks before and never had any problems with it, so.
Yeah, no, the blocks don't melt.
Even with the coverage of 2 beacons and Instamine, this is still such a big area that it just takes a substantial amount of time to do this.
Yeah, I think you're well within the size at which you'd be better off creating some sort of two-way flying machine TNT duper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only thing about TNT is it still makes me nervous about losing any good ore, and so I'd still want to finish out from like 11 down or something, you know?
Yeah, it would destroy your ores. That is true.
No, and then also, like, I think I'd have to use a duper too, because I would not want to spend that amount of resources on just blowing up TNT. And it's not the gunpowder that I'm worried about, it's the sand.
Yeah, well, I mean, you wouldn't be able to get a flying machine to release it without duping it anyway.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never made a working TNT duper. Like, I tried it in the past, but I just didn't have all of the proper stuff, and I don't think I know enough about that to even get it set up completely, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look at the design myself. I know it has something to do with, I think, a wall, a coral fan, a minecart, and a slime block flying machine.
Mm-hmm.
Something to do with that.
My full again? Holy cow. I keep on filling up my inventory way faster than I feel like I should be, but I guess it makes sense with how much area I've been clearing, but So I think after the iron farm, after I get that going, some of the changes that I'm going to do is the original iron farm I used Fletchers, just because that was one of the easiest blocks to do early on, you know? Because it only requires wood and what's the flint? But now that I have more materials, I think I'm actually going to switch them over to like armors, so that I can trade the iron that I get out of it back for emeralds from the guys that are in the system. And I'm also hoping that that will keep them attached to their workbenches a little better if I trade with them every so often instead of just having them up there doing nothing, you know?
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's just they periodically, due to a bug, lose track of their workstation and then see what they can pathfind to.
Yeah.
So I think you're just going to have to make sure they can't at all pathfind to anywhere else.
I think so. Like maybe glass containers around the area where they can go and stuff. Yeah, but that means I'm going to be doing like glass walkways in between where they're at and stuff as well. And then I'm also going to move the other villager trading area that I have. And I'm thinking I might just, like I was originally going to try and build it into that tower. But I'm thinking about moving it out of that the tower entirely. And just into its own like newer little trading hall kind of thing. So I don't know, maybe I'll even incorporate some of those guys into the iron farm because that wouldn't be too difficult, but no, I'm thinking mostly that it will be armors and then stonemasons, because I'm going to need a lot of stonemasons as well to get all that quartz. Because I think it's going to be a lot more time efficient to use the iron guys to get emeralds and then use the emeralds to buy the quartz. Right? So there's got to be 30 villagers in the system for it to work for the iron farm anyway, so
30?
yeah, because they're in little pods or groups of 3, and then in each,
okay, so it's got 10 groups.
Yeah, so the zombie scares 2 groups at a time for a total of 5 stops. So, and the thing that took a long time before is that I was doing it up into the air on the original one, and this one I've decided to do it down in the ground. And I'm going to have to rewatch the video, but I don't think that actually changes anything as far as the functionality. I just don't want the iron golems to be able to spawn down on this level, so probably what I'm going to do is actually, once I get it down to 5, go down one more level and just embed glass in between the bedrock, just so that it's completely spawn proofed on the floor, right? Because the bedrock is technically a transparent block, and glasses as well, and so I think if I just cover the entire bottom, then it should be spawn proof to where iron golems cannot spawn on the ground, which is already going to be up in the air a little bit anyway, so why did that do that?
Yes, isn't there like a spherical range they can spawn in? Depending upon how high up, you may not need to spawn proof the ground if you don't want to.
There is, but I think I'm going to spawn proof it anyway, just because I don't want any mobs in the area at all, like from any kind, so I don't want slime spawning either. And there is a slime chunk somewhere in this area, so I don't want slimes, I don't want any passive mobs, I don't want anything at all in this area other than the iron farm. I mean, I've already done all the cave lighting that I need to do in this entire area, so I think once I get the glass in, it should be fairly well just spawn-proofed completely. Then the only problem is going to be spawn-proofing the entire outside of the mountain. And I'm going to try and do that while I terraform with lanterns, you know, just light up everything. So... oh shoot, I'm outside of the beacon range again. Okay, let's do this. Yeah, I'm thinking with the quartz though, then doing a big building, and it's going to have a lot of different shapes to it just because of all the farms that are going to be incorporated into it. And then I'm going to do like a grand, like nice big area on the inside and stuff. So I'm going to have it really big, and it should be really bright and everything on the inside, you know. So it'll be like inside of this pitch black mountain area, there's just going to be this nice white bright building, you know. Ooh, there's more diamonds. This is a great way to find diamonds. As well, just clearing stuff out like this.
Yeah, it's a pretty good way to get resources.
I'm surprised I haven't seen any lava pockets, honestly. Like,
What level are you on?
5?
Yeah, you should be getting tons of lava.
Well, I think... here. I think I just got lucky with this entire area, because if I go into Spectator, there's a lot of lava just outside of the range that I'm in. Like a substantial amount. But right in the area that I'm at, I've just happened to miss a lot of lava in this nearby area where I planted my base. Like I think I just got incredibly lucky with the placement of where I decided to build. Because it wasn't planned at all, right? Like I didn't know this beforehand, and I didn't use Spectator to find out. Because yeah, there actually is a substantial amount of lava just through the wall that I'm in right now, but... I also didn't know about the 7-chunk slime grouping either, though, when I originally came here as well, right? So that wasn't even until after I figured out how to find the proper seed of the world, so I could even figure that out.
You mean /seed?
Well, so if I do /seed, let's see if that works. Yeah, see, it just doesn't, like if I do the command, if you watch the stream, it doesn't show. And I think that's because the paper spigot, that it messes up, like, because there's multiple seeds for different things with how paper spigot runs. And I don't fully understand it, but I had to use something else to be able to figure out what the seed was. I think it was something within the paper spigot, though.
Weird.
So... I mean, it's weird.
Also, sorry, I'm flying across the nether roof and probably loading up a ton of chunks.
That's fine. I did have to, when I wanted it later, it was easier for me to just go into my past messages where I'd sent it to Dundee and get it from there, and so I eventually just put it in the coordinate database. Because I didn't want to have to find that again, because it was such a long process the first time to find what the seed was of the overworld. Because the paper spigot, I don't know if you remember, but with how it runs, and it actually runs the end and the nether as separate worlds. Instead of subsets of the original overworld seed. And so if we changed over to a different format, like if we wanted to do just a normal server type again, then our nether and end builds would just be gone. We'd have to redo that completely.
I mean, there's probably some way to port them over.
There's ports, but they're complicated, and when I tried it, it was way more than I wanted to try and figure out at the moment. So I mean, there are ways that you can do it, but it's... Oh, one of the other things too is that some of the ones are no longer... It's like there were ones that people had made to help you convert stuff, but they're no longer supported by a lot of the creators of them. With the newer updates, you can only use them reliably on past updates as well.
It's probably somewhat similar to pruning the end chunks, though, right? Like, but in reverse, save and copy the chunks instead of deleting them.
I mean, I guess I could, but no, that just doesn't sound very fun at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
So,
I've never had to do it, and I can only imagine it's a huge pain.
it kind of takes me back to the days when we were just starting and I was spending like a 40-hour week just to get everything going on the server correctly. Now right now it's nice because we have a good core group of people and we've had enough donations and everything that I've been able to maintain things without having to do too much out of my own pocket, you know, like it's a reasonable amount now that I'm willing to spend, you know. Because especially with the amount of time that I use to moderate the server and stuff, then it's like, I don't want to be shelling out all the money to run the server as well as, apart from the fact that my wife and I are poor college students, you know. Now we're actually going to be moving into my mother-in-law's house here in about a month or so. A little over a month. So towards the end of December. And when that happens, she's going to be nice enough to make it so that we don't have to pay rent. But we're going to use that time to try and get out of the debt from my schooling because we have, I don't know, like $5,000 or so of student loans from me. And then Ashley's also still in school at the moment, you know. So yeah, once we get that paid off though, then I'm going to focus on getting my truck fixed because my truck at the moment, the exhaust system basically fell out. So like my muffler, just like the week after I got the emissions inspection done and passed, which luckily lasts for 2 years, then I drove it and I saw that the end of my exhaust pipe was like loose and kind of falling off. And so I grabbed it off, and so I knew that I needed to look at it. And I was, like, I had managed to find a bumper that I was going to replace the bumper on the back of my pickup. Because the bumper that I had on it was from another truck that I dug the bumper out of a junkyard. And so it was very, rotted through. Like I'd cleaned it up originally, but there was still a lot of rust on the inside, and so it just rotted through completely, like the entire thing.
I think you mean rusted through, but yeah.
Rusted, well, I mean the rust rot kind of stuff, you know, but anyway. So I had to replace that, and when we were down there, then we ended up finding that basically the entire muffler was just ready to fall off, as well as the gas tank on my truck. Like there's a support thing that goes across that isn't for anything other than just holding up the gas tank. And that was almost completely rusted through as well. And so the mechanic wanted like $700 to fix it, which was more than we're willing to put into like a $2,000 truck at the moment, you know? So my truck, like the Kelly Blue Book value is anywhere from, like in poor condition, over $2,000 to good condition. To like good condition is over $3,000. And it's like if I got it fixed up, theoretically I'd be able to get my money back out of it if I sold it, you know?
It's really weird. Aren't these things really, really expensive new?
What?
How does it depreciate to like the value of a few computers?
What, a truck? Well, my truck is a 1990 Toyota pickup. It's basically what they turned into the Tacoma. So it's got stuff that's like, it's got stuff that's interchangeable with some of the early model Tacomas. Because it's the model, the SR5 is the model of pickup. And so yeah, the Tacoma, some of the early ones will even say SR5 on them. But anyway, so yeah, that model of truck though, like they're super dependable. And so they just kind of depreciated to where they were a couple of grand, and then they just held at that price, and it's not really moving from there now. So I don't know, about 10 years ago now was when I bought it originally, like in June, the year that I turned 15, which is, I'm 25 now. And a couple summers after I got it, I had a mechanic that I had found that wasn't working as a mechanic at the time. He was actually working at one of the mills that's out near Blanding, but on his free time he went through like the entire engine and replaced a lot of like the tubing and like hoses, belts, like everything on the inside, right? He just replaced and put new. As well as like the timing cap and stuff is new, or was new at the time. And so that stuff's only like less than 10 years old now, you know? So the engine actually runs really well, and the truck itself runs really well. It's just that the body and stuff is still, you know, like going on, what is it, 30 years now? 30 years old with all the rust and stuff that comes with being 30 years old. So anyway, so I'm thinking if I can do a lot of the work myself, which is going to be easier once my wife is not working anymore as well, then I think I can lower the cost from about $700 down to around $250. But I would have to basically buy all the pipe and bend it and everything myself for the exhaust, and then install it myself. And then also get that support piece covered over and new metal welded on to hold up the gas tank as well. But I need a place and time and material to do that all, you know. But anyway, that's gonna wait until we're out of this place and I can actually get good access to my truck and find a way to do some of that work. Luckily, I have some friends that have welders and stuff and experience. My old boss that has restored like his own, he has a 65 Mustang that he restored completely. And his brother's a mechanic. He offered to help me with it, so I'm thinking I'm going to use his help and, you know, just hopefully if I can get that fixed, then the tires, like I also need to put on new tires, because the tires I put on 10 years ago and they're down to where they need to be replaced. Basically to the point where there's no traction left on them, right? And I'm in danger of blowing them out if I hit a pothole kind of thing, so I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing though with like an old vehicle like that. Because I could replace it, but the thing is I know my truck because I'm basically only the second owner of the truck, because the first one, he sold it to his uncle and then I bought it from his uncle within like a week of him selling it. And so it more or less just changed hands for a moment there, you know. He didn't drive it or anything. And I even know the original owner and stuff of the pickup, so the thing is I know the history and I know everything that's going on with the truck. And one of the things with old vehicles is you don't always know what is going on with them.
Hey, Mom.
So, like I could sell it and then buy another vehicle and then end up spending even more money on it if I don't buy the right vehicle, you know, so. Oh, looks like the boys are almost home. And yeah, I'll head down here in a moment. Okay, well it looks like it's about time for me to stop my stream. I did just about get all the area mined out that I needed to mine out. Which is good, I guess, because now I can do that iron farm, and I guess I'll just do it off stream, because, yeah, the boys are going to be back, it's going to get noisy, and I need to help my wife. So, you still there, son, now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I guess if you want to say bye to the stream, then I'll be in it here in a moment.
Bye-bye, stream.
Awesome. Anyway, cool, well, I know it probably wasn't the most interesting thing to watch, but I hope that if you did watch it, then you enjoyed the conversation and that you're as excited to see the progress on this base as I am. This is going to start looking really awesome very soon. So anyway, I'll probably be streaming here again this next week. I'm going to try and make sure that I do at least one stream a week, as well as other videos. I finally got that going again to where I've been putting out edited videos. Anyway, so I will see you guys next stream here on the NightQuest server. Goodbye.